In today's video, we're going to be creating some really cool videos with Seedance 2.0 and Claude Code. Let's get straight into this. Seedance 2.0 has been making waves all over social media recently since it got released. It is the best video model, AI video model on the market, and I've been seeing some really cool videos coming out that are getting built using Seedance. But I'm also seeing people still manually prompting Seedance. Now, in this video, I've actually created a skill for you guys, so you can just give this skill to Claude Code and get set up and just speak to Claude in natural language, and Claude will go ahead, connect with Seedance and generate your video for you, and then hand it back to you once it's done. So you can get that skill from my free school community, first link in the description. Okay, so how does Claude and Seedance work? So just like I explained, you're going to give Claude a prompt or a reference image. We'll do both of these later. Claude is going to call that skill, and we're going to be calling Seedance via an API through either Key AI, which we've used on this channel many times, Foul AI or Wave Speed, which we'll go over later as well, but we're going to be using Key for this video. And basically, we're going to call the Key API with Seedance, and then once that video is done, we're going to get that video back and have it inside of our Claude. So this natural language to video generation is the new way in creating these videos. Now, Seedance is extremely powerful and extremely good at creating cinematic style videos, ads, animations for your website, anything video related. Now, the example that I showed you at the beginning of this video, that was a bit more of a complex cinematic fighting scene, but Seedance is excellent at generating all sorts of videos. We can literally talk to Claude in natural language, and Claude, with this skill, will expand on our natural language prompts and craft some Seedance ready prompts for us. These are generated in minutes. AI can create all the visuals, or we can actually provide Seedance and Claude with reference images. And no technical skill is needed to do this. All you have to do, again, is just copy and paste the skill that I've built you from my free school community and copy and paste that straight into Claude, and you'll be ready to go. So let's go ahead and get this set up. First of all, you're going to need Claude Code. Now, if you haven't got Claude Code, there are a couple ways where we can run this. You can go and download the Claude desktop app. If you've never used Claude Code before, I recommend you do that. It's the easiest way to get started, and we'll be using that for this video. Or you can install an IDE, for example, Cursor, Anti-Gravity, VS Code, and then install Claude as an extension and get it set up that way. But we're going to be using the Claude desktop app for over there now. I'm inside of the Claude desktop app now. You will need to be a paid user to use Claude Code. But when you're in a Claude desktop app, you see three windows up here: chat, co-work, and code. You want to make sure you're inside of the code tab. Now, when you're inside of the code tab, you need to add a folder. You can just create a folder on your desktop. That's completely fine. That's exactly what I've done, called untitled folder. And then I've just opened up that folder. So now we are working inside of that untitled folder, and we can actually paste the skill. So you can either pause the video, screenshot that, and write it out, or you can go to my free school community and just get this exact copy and paste. And then all we're going to do is just hit enter, and Claude is now going to evaluate that GitHub repo with being the Seedance skill, import all of the information into it, and then get this set up. In the meantime, I'm inside of Key AI now, and we have used this on this channel before many times, but let me just run through what it is for you, just in case you are new here. Now, Key AI is basically an API aggregator. They have tons and tons of different models, image, text, video, voice, even now, that we can use and get access to all through one platform. Now, there are other platforms exactly like this you may have heard of, one being Fowl AI, which again has many different tools that we can use, and then the next being WaveSpeed, which again is exactly the same. See, here you can see that they have tons and tons of different Seedance models. Same with Fowl, but they all work exactly the same. Just I've picked to use Key AI for this video. If you don't want to use Key AI and you want to use Fowl or WaveSpeed, we'll go ahead and I'll show you how to set that up as well. But you want to make a Key AI account, and you want to top up, let's say $5 for now, just for this example. Once you've done that, you want to click on API keys, create a new API key, and note that down. And then let's go back to Claude has gone ahead, read our skill, and basically said, this is what the skill does for us. So we can drop in 2 or 3 reference images into this untitled folder and say generate a Seedance video with these images, or we can just say generate a Seedance video, give it a natural language prompt. So if we did give Claude reference images, it would look at the image, write the prompts, show you the prompts, quote the cost of the video, which is really handy. And after you approve, it will call the byte down Seedance 2.0 via the Key AI API, holds for 4 to 5 minutes, and then saves the MP4 in an output folder. Now, here you can see that it's a paid API. Seedance 2 isn't at all a cheap model here, so just be wary of that when trying to generate tons of videos. It will end up costing you quite a bit. So here you can see it's 16 cents per second, a Key API key. Now, we've just gone ahead, signed up for Key, and got our API key. So all you need to do is just copy and paste that API key into here. I've just given Claude my Key API key. You can see it's set up the untitled folder, exactly how it says in the skill. Now, what we can actually do, we can go ahead and start actually generating videos instantly now that we have this. Okay, simple as that. I've just spoke to Claude. I'm using Whisper Flow. So now this is really useful part of the skill that I've built for you. Basically what it's going to do, before it sends off this natural language prompt, it's going to come back with a concept that it wants to run with. So you can see here, calorie tracking ads usually go straight for before after weight loss footage, boring and cliched. I want to do the opposite. And then it's going through the concept being morning fuel. It's given a description of the opening frame, the camera, the motion, the pacing, the mood, the audio, and then it's given us the cost estimate. So this is a really handy part of the skill. Let's approve this. Let's proceed and then style. Okay, our video has been completed. Let's see what we have. Okay, so the person takes a photo of the food, goes outside, starts their day. I mean, for a small one-shot prompt, essentially natural language prompt, I'm happy with that. But again, that was a very simple idea. What we can also do is ask Seedance to have different scenes in the video. So that was one scene. We can say, okay, that's a good first scene, then cut to another scene, another scene, another scene. Now, next we'll actually move on to using, this time we're going to be using this logo as a reference image, and we're going to just ask Claude to generate us a Seedance video, marketing video for this brand. Use the colors, the same font, and we're going to actually ask it to do a couple different scenes, and then just be creative. So just while that's generating in the background, I wanted to show you some more complex examples of Seedance videos that are getting generated, because obviously in this video we're generating very basic videos. So I just thought I'd show you some more complex ones with different scenes. Now this one is the video that I showed at the beginning of the video, and I'll show you how this was created in a second, but let's just have a look at this. So there you have that one. I'm fired up. So there was just a couple examples of some more complicated videos that were made with Seedance. Now, let me show you how that first one was created. So here is the prompt. Pretty basic prompt, to be honest. We're just referencing different images. So down here you can see that we have different reference images throughout, which are used throughout the video as different frames. Now we're just referencing those images within the prompt. We can easily do this within our Claude system. All we need to do is just add the images into Claude and say, this is reference image 1, image 2, image 3. Use those images to create this fighting scene. Make sure it's very smooth and blended together, and there is multi-angle tracking of shots to capture the power and beauty of the martial arts in play. But it's very simple to do. I've made it as easy as possible for you guys to generate this sort of video and many other videos. But again, it's just all about giving Claude as much information as possible so that it can send that all off to Seedance and then Seedance. Okay, our video has been completed. Let's check this out. Now, that when, for example, say you didn't like that video and you wanted to make a slight change to the video, just be wary of constantly making changes. Obviously, this is an example, but I would make sure that your video prompt is 95 to 100% exactly where you want it to be before you actually go ahead and start generating these videos, because it will start costing you money. But for a first attempt with this video prompt that Claude generated for us, I thought that wasn't bad at all. Used the logo, a few different scenes blended together there. Not bad at all. But you can create any sort of video with this: cinematic fighting scenes like I showed you earlier, time travel video like I showed you earlier as well, marketing materials, adverts, elements for websites, animated hero backgrounds, you name it, you can do it with Seedance. Now, I just want to show you one last thing, and that is, if you didn't want to use Key AI as a provider, what you can do is you can use the other platforms I showed you earlier, like foul.ai or WaveSpeed. Maybe you already have an account with that provider or those providers, and you just rather not swap over to Key. That's completely fine. I'll show you how to use Seedance via these platforms in Claude Code right now. Now, it's really, really easy to do. We'll use WaveSpeed as an example, but this process would be replicated if you were using FOW as well. You just want to come to a Seedance model that you want to use. Let's just go text to video for now. And then we want to come to API here. Now what you want to do is you just want to click on copy content. So this is just copy and pasting all of this page is information, all this code here, how the request should look like, how the request should be received, etc., etc. You don't really need to throw back to last year. We would have had to read all of this, copy and paste this all into an N8N workflow. But now all you need to do is just copy and paste this page, go back to Claude, paste in all that documentation there, and just ask Claude, I'm going to switch over to WaveSpeed as a provider. Can you familiarize yourself with the request and how it should look to Seedance? And then once you've done that, you want to give Claude your WaveSpeed API key so it can use it, and then you'll be good to go. It's as simple as that. It's really, really easy to do. And the same process will be or would be repeated exactly the same on FOW. You just type in Seedance, copy and paste the API documentation straight into your chat, ask Claude to learn it, and then drop in your API key. Now, this can easily be done as well on Higgsfield. So I dropped a video recently, and Higgsfield actually has the Seedance model. But again, it's many different ways that I'm showing you to get to the same result, essentially, which is creating content and videos. So if you have a Higgsfield subscription, you can set up the Higgsfield MCP. I'll leave the video link in the description or pop it up on screen now. Or if you don't have a Higgsfield subscription and you want a different way to use these models, WaveSpeed, FOW, and Key are a great option. Have a look at those. Again, you can download and use this skill I've built for you completely for free. You can get it from my free school community, first link in the description. Thank you very much for viewing this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I've got loads of cool stuff coming soon.